Rolling Tin Fist.
Hey man, what's up? It's been a while. Hope you all are doing well and doing your thing, going your own way. I've been traveling, life changes, back and forth, so been pretty busy at work as well. But kids are gone for the summer, at least a decent chunk of it, and wife is working, so I got a little time to do a recording, and let's get with it. So on one of my trips, I watched this movie. It's a Chinese movie called iGirl, Chinese English subtitles. It was made last year. And so the premise is that two guys, well, actually three, but if you see the movie, it'll make sense. Anyway, they get dumped by their girlfriends in spectacular fashion within a series of like an evening. And typical way that a lot of MGTOW and Red Pill video producers have denoted. I mean, classic. They did it really well. These women essentially monkey branched.
This means to go from a current man to another man with greater resources, otherwise known as hypergamy.
And enacted Briffault's law. I'll put a link to Briffault's law for those of you who don't know about that or what it refers to. There are also excellent videos that discuss it as well. But anyway, they basically tell their boyfriends, hey, we want something better. We're going to get something better. And they do that. And so these guys react in typical purple pill, if not blue pill fashion. Now, woe is me. What am I going to do? Can I get her back? And then one of them decides, you know what? He's going to get a female robot. He orders it online and goes to bed, and the robot's delivered, and the instructions on how to power the robot on. And then he goes through, first of all, being resistant to the idea of, first of all, the legitimacy of the robot and his feelings for his ex and all that. But eventually he sees that this robot is the real deal. She caters to him, wants to cook for him. There's even something in the robot called comfort mode. And I won't spell that out. You guys know what that means. And so he basically tries all these things, and then he shares with his buddies, and he gives them the demo, and they get iGirls. And so over the span of the movie, the iGirls, as it were, are artificially intelligent. So they start to learn and adapt based on how the men interact with them and their needs and the men's needs. So over the time of the movie, they're almost similar to any other woman you would see on the street, except they weigh like 700 pounds. And the men have them in check. Their protocol calls as such that they don't exhibit AWOLT behavior, typical female behavior. Their girlfriends, their ex-girlfriends catch on, and then they start to dig in and try to interfere with their newfound robot romance. And eventually, the ex-girlfriends figure out the chip that makes the iGirls function and some of their weaknesses. And so the ex-girlfriends go ahead to sabotage the iGirls, and there's this whole montage. And long story short, the ex-girlfriends and the iGirls kind of cancel each other out with the help of these men. And so the iGirls get destroyed, and the ex-girlfriends realize that these men are now red pill, and they ain't going back to the plantation, as it were. Unfortunately, after that, since it is a movie and people like happy romantic endings, the men end up hooking up with, I guess I would call them Tradicon women, that are just like visually their iGirls, and everybody lives happily ever after. And so it was a hilarious movie. I coincidentally was watching this cat corner to a bunch of post-wall women on the opposite side of the plane. So if you can imagine, I'm in the aisle seat, and on the opposite side of the plane, but one row back, are these three women. And I know they heard me laughing my ass off, and they could see my screen. But anyway, what I found very interesting was that, first of all, that movie went there, and it being from China, right? But then I think about it, that's a more traditional society than the West. But it really did a decent job of the premise. It did a decent job. And one of the things that it brought to mind to me is that that's going to be the future one way or the other. I believe, I can't think of the video producer's name. MGTOW 101 did a video that talked about that, this actual real life, if for lack of a better term, iGirl manufacturer. I'll see if I can dig the video and put that link in the description. But this is the future. And right now, these sort of robots are relatively dumb. By that I mean they don't have any artificial intelligence, at least not any advanced artificial intelligence, nothing like Deep Blue or the Google supercomputer that beat the Go champion, nothing like that. They're relatively dumb. They have relatively simple algorithms. That's not a bad thing, because the problem with artificial intelligence, AI, that has any kind of machine learning, the danger is that if it's any good, it eventually will obviously adapt on its own based on the initial logic. To give an example, movies like Terminator 2, Skynet, the idea that in the beginning you build them, they seem, hey, pretty smart, they can beat a computer. Well, excuse me, in the beginning they can't beat like a human chess player, but eventually they learn, adapt, and they can beat a human chess player. And they adapt, they learn some more, and they can beat 20 of the best chess players, and so on and so on. So the danger is that as that machine learning kicks in and the artificial intelligence adapts, it goes beyond the understanding of the creators. And so the AI will begin to make decisions on its own that may not be in the best interest of its creators. And that was well illustrated in this movie, iGirl, in that the same chip that ran the iGirls, the creator had set up protocols so that iGirls wouldn't do anything outside of the desires of their quote-unquote masters. However, he had done an upgrade to the chip, which wasn't fully tested, that the ex-girlfriends, the human girls, used, and then they basically adapted beyond the ability of the creator to even control or interfere with in a practical sense. But anyway, those are the things I think about as I see robotics taking off, AI, artificial intelligence taking off machine learning, is that as these things develops, and this is even outside the sphere of female robots, even in terms of Internet of Things, what's referred to as IoT, being able to use Alexa or Google to turn on your TV, open your garage, things like that. As those things get more intelligent, there is the danger that they will go beyond the capabilities of those who created or those who command them. For example, you could have a smart house that, when it was first created, simply looks at your Google Calendar and lets you know when you have appointments. So, for example, Google or Alexa may say, hey, John, you have an appointment on July 17th at 2 p.m. And you say, thank you. Fast forward as this intelligence gets even more smart to the point, let's say, 50 years from now, 100 years from now, whatever. The computer is so much advanced that it sees you have an appointment on the second that you don't want to go to, for example, because let's say you've been diagnosed with something and you're afraid to go, or that doctor maybe has a history of negligence that there's no documentation for, but you've had anecdotal evidence and you decide you don't want to see that doctor. But the artificial intelligence is smart enough to know that you have an appointment that you need to attend to, but dumb enough to realize non-technical cues from the doctor that you picked up that you don't want to go. And so the house computer or the house AI might decide, you know what, I will force you to go to your doctor, like literally automatically have your robot dog drag you into your intelligent car and then force the car to drive you to the doctor, so on. So I know a lot of you are groaning right now, like, come on. But I'm just saying, just kind of think not in 5 or 10 years, but more like 50, 100 years, as the pace of the Internet of Things, artificial intelligence gets much smarter. And so the dream, to be honest, for a lot of people, myself included, would be able to have such a female robot that literally would do your bidding, in accordance with the law, but you would have some control over that. Like, you would have some safety protocols. I think a good example is what is illustrated in Isaac Asimov's book I, Robot, of which the movie with Will Smith was later made. There are the 3 robot laws that basically are the commandments to protect humanity from basically the robot apocalypse. Again, it was a very interesting movie, made me laugh, made me think, and I'm hoping that technology does come, but my concern is obviously what will be the safety protocols that will protect misuse, hacking, or AI running away with itself. Anyway, I'd love to hear people's comments on it. Put your comments below. Let me know what you think and any other thoughts you may have. Take care, fellas. Peace.